David, if you'd like to welcome your panel, David from PIMS, everybody. He's gonna explain what this is all about and welcome his guests.
Thank you. It's a long day, so we'll try to make it pretty quick, but they always put the best for last. So thank you very, very much for sticking around and attending. We're going to get started. Let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is David Silbergleit, CEO of PIMS. We've been around for about 35 years working with the beauty industry and basically everything fulfillment and custom fulfillment, everything from influencer marketing to warehousing, distribution globally, and e-commerce. Maybe we can go down the little line and just introduce ourselves, tell a little about who you are, and
Sure, absolutely. I'm Tumarin. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales and Global Brand Marketing for Higher Education Skincare. We've been around for about 3 years now. We've gone through a rebrand during COVID. We certainly have our ups and downs, and we have a really niche space within the university bookstore space, universities, and catering to Gen Z and younger millennials. And we're expanding into retail, growing quickly. And it's certainly catching up with us, that's for sure.
Hi, I'm Taliah Waajid with the Taliah Waajid brand, the World Natural Hair Show, and Uncle Jimmy products. And we've been in business for over 25 years. We are in retail, we sell online, we pick, pack, and ship, and just happy to be here.
For you.
they're with you, huh?
And that's my fan base.
She brought her own groupies. Okay. How do you compete? I'm Greg Starkman, founder, CEO of Innersense Organic Beauty. We are an early innovator, disruptor in the clean hair care space. We're 18 years old, and really the brand was developed to meet the emerging trends of the safe cosmetic consumer, eliminating cosmetic toxins as well as synthetic fragrance and cosmetic-based ingredients, really relying on highly sustainable ingredients that are sourced as organic, really addressing, again, a high-performance product. We're sold globally as well in omni-channel distribution.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. There's free product on your way out.
So I appreciate the introductions. I've had a chance to speak to everybody prior to this, and I'm really excited to get to talk to you all. The stories, the origin stories, to steal from the Marvel comics. The origin stories is they're fabulous for the brand. So I'm looking forward to this. Just to get started, it's a very competitive market out there. There are brands popping up left, right, center, people that have been in the industry forever, people that have celebrity backgrounds and names. With all these brands popping up, what do you do? How do you keep the loyalty there? How do you keep the brand identity going strong when there's people popping up all over the place? Greg, do you want to start?
I'll start. I mean, the first thing I say is everybody stay calm, don't react. You know what? Look, it is highly competitive. There's somebody coming in stealing the oxygen in the room every day. And as a brand, it's really so important to stay grounded in who you are and what your why is, and stay in your lane. And I think that, through that, you're able to kind of weather whatever storm or disruption will be there. I just think it's important for you as a brand to also be innovating, re-energizing your messaging and your story to stay relevant, to continue to attract and retain consumer.
Yeah, I would agree. And to just make sure that you're staying current with whatever is going on in the market, whatever consumers are interested in, because those are the things that are going to keep you relevant. And just make sure that you're like you said, focused on your goal and your plan to grow, and to focus on your current customer Don't be like the dog with the bone looking in the lake at the other dog. You know, you have the bone because you have some customers now. So focus on ways that you can make their experiences more enjoyable. Make them want to become fans of you. And even if new products come out, new celebrities come out with things, you know, if you're providing a quality product, a great experience, they're going to keep you in mind before they, you know, look the other way, I think. Well, that's what we're finding.
I think, you know, the greatest lessons that I've learned, and I've launched about 13 brands now in the last 20 years, and now global brands, some celebrity brands, some skincare brands, is staying authentic to the brand messaging and knowing that you can't be everything for everyone, and knowing your lane and staying in your lane and having really clear messaging to what you're communicating to the consumer. Because if you go too wide with too many products and you try to be everything for everybody, you're going to lose your message. And as long as you have that really streamlined, and I hate the phrase elevator pitch, it's really important to have that really authentic, streamlined messaging for your consumer.
That's great, and I think a lot of it also has to do with, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure you all agree, but it's how do you acquire new clients, but then what do you do to actually keep those clients? Because it's a referral sale at that point. You keep a client happy, you keep a customer happy, and the business just keeps coming in for you and for other people. Is there something that you've learned over the years and experience? How do you keep the retention rate up to keep that going?
The retention rate of your client? Experiences, you know, staying relevant with what consumers are looking for today, and adding that to what you have. You know, when you're selling your products to customers, just making the experience great is one way that you can do that.
I think as a new brand, you're always chasing top of funnel, and that's how we're growing base. But you know, to your point, nurturing the bottom of funnel is equally critical, because those customers are being served up everybody else's ads, and it's about the experience that you provide for that customer. You've already won them because they've already bought product from you. So how do you keep them? And I don't think it's always about being transactional. I think that customers see through that, you know, 20% off savings ad. They want relevant content that's really meaningful for them, because they definitely want to be aligned with the brand ethos and the experience of why they bought from you. So they're already spending your money with you. And look, women love trying new things. I mean, how many women in here see something, it's like something new every time. But I think what is heartwarming for me is when they come back, and when we see the testimonials. And to me, that is where we really won a second time. So it's never forget winning your existing customer, and spend as much time winning your customer a second, third, and fourth time as you are winning that customer for the first time.
And I'll piggyback on that, because that's a genius answer, and a man who certainly knows his industry. For us, what has worked is partnerships, where I think that there's a really cool collective when you have either non-competing or slightly competing brands, like a vitamin company and a skincare company that has the same clientele base, and having forged a partnership. And we did that right when we rebranded. We partnered with Vanity Planet, who is a tools company for facial tools, and we found great synergy of where you have a unique partnership and you're offering an experience to the consumer. And what we did, we dipped into their clientele base, and they're one of the most popular beauty tools out there. So we garnered their social media scope, their emails, and that partnership really elevated our presence within social, which was our goal in the first place. And they got the flex within retail because they were a digitally native brand. And then the partnerships evolved to where we're partnering with a vitamin company. That vitamin company happened to work with a retailer. They introduced us to a retailer. Then we had a really cool synergy with networks. We're actually partnered with Universal Studios DreamWorks for their Ruby Maid Gilman and I'll screw up the tagline for the movie, but it's a really cool synergy because it's a Gen Z geared movie. And the reason why we're partnering with them is because they really wholly believe in making sure that we do good for the planet, which is part of our brand ethos. So the climate change, making sure that we're using PCR recyclable materials, we're not leaving anything in the oceans of residue from products. So they loved our messaging, and that came to full circle to a partnership, which we're able to dip into their clientele now. So I encourage that, companies reach out to like-minded organizations and forge those conversations. You never know where they're going to go.
Great. I think with in any leadership role, I think that there's times that your vision is questioned, whether it's by yourself or whether it's by employees or by the social world out there that's commenting on something. How do you fight back the urge to, well, there's two urges. The one is to quickly change your vision based on what the feedback from somebody else is. The other is to stubbornly stay within your vision when you know that you should actually be changing it. These past few years, I'm sure that everybody's vision of what the future looks like has changed, or at least it's come into question. I'm just curious how you all handle a situation like that. Maybe, Taliah, do you want to kick it off?
So that takes me back to when we had to really stop for a moment because, like I said, we've been in business for over 25 years, and the way we engage with consumers was really different, newspaper, those kind of things. And so when everything went digital and social media, we had plans to do other things, but because the world was changing around us, we had to either, make a decision. Either we're going to get on board with what's going on around us, or we're going to, keep saying, oh, well, this is the way we've been doing it. This is how we've won. And so we decided that we have to just, change our plans and our goals. And well, first we just stepped back because we had to relearn how to do things. And so we took the time to do that. And, in that case, we had to get on board. But there are some instances where things are going around us and they look really interested. It looks like everyone's going that way. The customers want to go that way. But, we go back to the drawing board and we say, hey, this is our goal. We look at the numbers, too, because the numbers tell you what you should be doing, right? Yeah, your numbers are really going to tell you what you should be doing. But when you're in that creative space, you just have to go back, stay firm with your plan and just keep going. Well, that's what we've been able to do. Just kind of get together, have the conversation with each other and, just keep going on our plan. Yeah.
Look, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you have ADHD and can never stay focused because you want to do so much. I have a sign in my office that says self-doubt is part of the creative process. And you have to always be innovating and reinventing yourself. When you're an 18-year-old brand or a 25-year-old brand, you always have to be reinventing yourself, your messaging, your story, as well as re-engineering how you're communicating. Again, everything is running so fast today. You need to keep up. And you look at the ecosystem around the digital environments that we all compete in, whether it be social media, digital media, driving UGC, influencer. I mean, it's a rush. And so it's just about continuing to develop strategies that are core to what your mission is, that really keep you on track to that. We have over 50 people today. Business continuity and alignment in that is really also critical to make sure that we're all moving in the same direction. So.
Oof, I've screwed up a lot. It's really challenging where obviously I learned from those mistakes and hopefully they're not too detrimental to the brand, which they weren't. And every time I evolve my practice of how I launch a brand or how I approach marketing and scope. But I think my biggest learning lesson was during COVID and having come in with higher education 2 months into the brand. And 2 months into the brand, I looked at packaging that looked like tester units. It was blue and white packaging that really didn't resonate. It didn't really have any messaging. It didn't stand out on the shelf whatsoever. And I looked at it and I was like, well, I need a job. So, and the job obviously turned into something much more. But, I put in all of our marketing funds into rebranding and into repackaging, investing into PCR materials, investing in recycled paper, partnering with Ocean Conservancy, getting compliance in order. I put in so many dividends during COVID that if this didn't work, this brand was dead. So, and right when we had lab samples, I had approached Von Maur. I didn't even have live product yet. Our formulations were beautiful. We had a great, following at university spaces. It was hitting the Gen Z market. And we had a huge retailer come up to us right before COVID happened. And they're like, would you like to have 20 stores? And it's a dream retailer that anybody would love to have. And I was like, I don't think we're ready. We can't be competitive against drunk elephants, and there's competitions everywhere. There's first aid beauty, things that are really, standing out and they resonate with the consumer. How do we do that better for our space? So we went through a rebrand. I showed the lab samples to Von Maur and they launched us full store distribution.com. That was our first retailer 6 months before we had product. We launched it full-fledged. Now, a year and a half in, we launched in Boots UK and Ireland, Starboard Cruise Line, LVMH, 27 countries in the Middle East. We're going into Francesca's this fall, and Beauty Bay, Trend Beauty, a bunch of beauty companies, and we partnered with the likes of Ipsy and Fit Fat Fun. So really strategic partnerships that were purposeful and had messaging behind them and really had a product focus that we were focused on last year. So it was a combination of just inherently, truly daring to fail. That was my mantra last year, of dare to fail and screw up. And if this doesn't work, it's dead anyway. So let's move on.
I feel inadequate sitting next to you. No, that's great. I mean, I'm sure these things pop up every single day. You're just stuck with this question in your mind. How do I move forward? What do I do? Sticking with your path. That's key, really. This is something that I've attended a few of these events and other events, and something that always comes up on a panel, and I love asking the question because I'm so curious. You guys are all very innovative people. Your products are. You're always coming out with new products. Where do you get your ideas from? What other industries pop into your head when you're looking for, how do I make that next move? What's that next marketing tactic? What's the social activity I want to do? What industries do you look at outside of the beauty and wellness world?
I'll go first. And I know a lot of people are probably expecting like a traditional answer of food, I was going to say food, but music and fashion. But I look at food trends and their messaging towards our demographic. Because if you look at their compliance and regulatory and their ingredients list and the way organic was first in food and bars and nutrition. And then it merged into beauty, interestingly enough. And if you follow that trend, food guides us to what the trend is going to be in beauty, interestingly enough.
That's very interesting. Food, I would have never thought that. So for me, I would say interior decorating. I know that sounds really weird, right? But I look in spaces because they're created for people, for consumers. And, I remember when they went into the minimalist, look. And then I started looking at packaging and different, it seemed like everything went kind of minimalist, right? From the way that it looked. So I would say, when I'm in a creative space, I always think of labeling, how the customer is going to, how he or she is going to be attracted to it. And I think, you know, the environment has a lot to do with that. So I can say that's what I've been inspired by, you know, that's kind of outside of beauty.
Well, I have a lot of inspiration spaces. I mean, we're sold here in the U.S. in over 6,000 beauty salons, and the relationships that we have with the styling community is really powerful, and it really informs a lot of our formulation direction. And, you know, we look at products and we say, okay, can we adapt our chemistry to produce a product that will perform as well without a lot of ingredients consumers are getting away from? So we really rely on that to find inspiration. We find inspiration partnering with our retailers. We find inspiration within our mission and action, which is the driving force behind our commitment to sustainability, packaging, being carbon neutral. We're a B Corp and have been a B Corp for 4 years and just recertified. We are now a global B Corp, which I'm really proud to announce. It's a huge accomplishment as well.
Congrats. That's great.
Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment. So I think that there's a lot of things that inform us as we really just kind of forge our mission forward.
No, that's great. You know, it's funny because, so I've been doing this for a few years now, but I've been in the industry for about 20 years. And when I used to ask that question, the answers were so different. And it was a surprising answer. The answer was people would follow the gaming industry. You know, they're ahead of their time. There's always new games coming out. How do you keep that crowd? And over the past few years, the answers have been changing. And they've been changing in the direction that you're giving because there's more of a concentration on making sure that you're a clean beauty brand or you're using fully recyclable products. Everything's organic. And it's funny, I haven't heard the video game answer in a few years, but everybody used to give it. So that's why I always ask the question, because I'm curious.
Maybe it's the age of your panel.
Nah, I don't know. You're all very young, so it's okay. But maybe it is. Anyway, so
working here.
To finish this up, you know, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out in the audience here. The Founder Made event it caters to entrepreneurs. If there was one piece of advice that you could give to any entrepreneur out here, what would that be? And what's that challenge that they don't even know is coming their way that they're going to have to get past?
Well, I always advise to never take no for an answer. Always ask why. If someone tells me no, I just ask why until I get to the answer that makes sense to me. And your numbers, just make sure that you're looking at your numbers.
Do you want to go?
I think if you're going to get into any business and, you know, you're going to launch a company, have a product that anchors you with a point of difference. Don't be a Me Too company that copies another like brand and thinks you're kind of making it better. The packaging is somewhat different. Buyers know, consumers know. And if it's done well already, sure, you can perfect it, or even if you're taking a product and perfecting it, then do that. But have an anchor product and stay true to your brand messaging.
I mean, I'm sure we've all gone through the exercise, as well as myself, of developing a miraculous business plan that's 50 pages long. And we launched by design, and nothing is going to happen by design. And, you know, I think the thing is that you have to learn to pivot and to stay committed to your mission. I think when I met online, I read this great piece from Steve Jobs. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have all the answers. But if you have perseverance, if you're willing to fight, you'll succeed. The attrition rate, the failure rate within beauty industry is huge. And really, it's not for the weak, you know, as well. And so you have to be really engineered for the long haul, and because there's going to be dips and valleys. And the last thing I'll just say is that I was told when I started Innersense that it takes 20 years to be an overnight success. I've got 2 more years to go. But it's not a destination. It's a journey, and it really is going to challenge all of you to the core of your being. So.
No, that's great. I was actually hoping you were going to say that quote because I loved it when you said it the other day. And if not, I was going to have to push you to do that. So that's great. I just want to, we have a couple minutes remaining, but I guess since nobody's here to take the mics from us, if there's any Q&A that anybody has, you're welcome to ask us any questions. I'll even jump and run down and give you the mic if anybody wants. Oh, I have to actually get down with the mic now. Hold on one sec.
We're 7 minutes away from cocktail hour.
I thought we were running ahead of time.
What do you think about the trend of health, like yoga and Ayurveda? I noticed you said food, you said space, you talked about gaming, but I was actually expecting you to talk about health because now, especially after the pandemic, people are talking about long COVID, how they feel fatigued, how their gut's not right. And so I run a company called Veda Farms, which is looking at Ayurveda and solutions in supplements, foods, and well-being products to help people connect their health to their beauty and these other industries. What do you think about health? Thank you.
It's the next frontier. People are actively taking better self-care of themselves in everything that they do in their life, work-life balance, to the products they're using, to their rituals. And it is the next big frontier in beauty is wellness.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, COVID was really a bad thing, but a lot of good came out of it in reference to people looking at their health and talking more about being healthy and mental health, mental wellness. I'm really happy that that was one of the things that came out of COVID. So, yes, health, I agree, is definitely always going to be a part of the beauty conversation, I think, moving forward.
Absolutely. And I think where we're seeing it, where it's a tangible kind of where we're observing it on our side is compliance and regulatory. It's merging closer and closer together on the things that we can't put in our product, the stabilizers, what's ending up in our oceans, because, and lo and behold, people found out that you absorb the things that are topical. So of course they're going to end up in your bloodstream which I can't imagine why the FDA wasn't always all over skincare and topicals. So absolutely, those are going to be married soon.
Did you?
Thank you. Hello, my name is Shantae Williams. I have a question for Taliah. With all the emerging brands in your category, and I've heard you say a couple times that you look at the data, you take a look at the numbers. How are you looking at the data externally to see where you fall in those categories?
So I use, it's not a name of it, but it's just like, I stay in my lane. Let's just call it that. So, we have, we use sales reps, and a lot of times they'll say, well, compared to this brand, whatever. And I say, well, unless it's apples and oranges, there's no comparison. So if we're talking about a brand that has far more distribution, far more, whatever, I can't be compared to that. So I, train my team, but we, support each other and say, we're going to focus on our brand, and we know there's always going to be competition. In the beauty space where I am, the multicultural, textured hair space is very competitive. But, we know we have a great product. People love us. We've been around for over 25 years, So that means that we have something that's really great. The consumers love it, and we just plan on just being here, creating great products for them, and whoever's going to love it is going to love it, right? So, and I'm reading a book right now, right? So I'm always in the learning phase. I love learning. I feel like you can never learn too much. I've been in business for over 25 years, but still, if it's an opportunity for me to learn something, I'm going to do that. So I'm reading a book right now, and that's one of the main things that they talk about. There's a lot of noise around us, as business people, and whatever kind of business that you're doing. But there's an audience for you, and that's what you focus on. And once you get that person's attention, you do everything that you can to keep their attention and make them a raving fan. Make them talk about your products, and, that's how you grow. Yeah.
Your fans again.
It's not fair.
I think that's basically the time. Thank you guys so much.
Time to
Thank
drink.
you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.